Welcome to B&B RV. We are located at 8101 East 40th Avenue in Denver, Colorado. Today, we'll be walking you through the 2022 OBI Dweller 13. In this video, we're going to walk you around the outside and through the inside, but first we'll show you how to hitch up to your vehicle and set up when you get to your campsite. Hooking your tow vehicle up to the Dweller is simple and easy. All you have to do is have a 2-inch receiver hitch and a 7-pin connection, and we'll provide everything else for you. So just get as close to the receiver as possible. The way that it's shaped, you don't have to align it directly in there. Just get it as close as possible, and then when you start to back up, it just slides right in place and you're locked in. You'll need to verify that the hitch is completely engaged. For that, there's a pin right here. It'll just sit firmly in that groove, and this handle will set all the way down. You'll take this big pin, slide it in here, and then this cotter pin just locks in place here to secure that pin. Next, you'll want to hook up the safety chains. There is a little yellow pin. You'll just unscrew that. You'll want to crisscross these. So the one on the right, you'll crisscross over to the left. Just make sure that the threaded end is on the outside, and then you'll just screw that down on that side. Take the other one, again, crisscross over to the other side and screw that down. There is an emergency brake cable on here as well. You'll want this to be connected to something different than your chains. In the event that this somehow becomes disconnected, what this does, it will engage the brakes on the trailer so it doesn't run away down the highway. Just find somewhere else, again, separate from your chains on your tow vehicle to connect that to. And then for power, you'll have to have a 7-pin connection. For that, just find the groove on the plug and the groove on your connection and slide that into place there. Should lock and ready to go. Once you're hooked up to your tow vehicle, you'll want to lift the front wheel. There is a blue handle on the right side here. Just release that and twist it up. There's also this parking brake. You want to disengage that, and then you're ready to go on your trip. When you're ready to unhitch, you're going to put the front wheel back down. Make sure that that's flat on the ground and it's bearing the weight of the trailer, and then engage your parking brake. And then all you have to do is remove that pin and then lift up this yellow handle and then pull forward, and that should disconnect from you. In setting up the Dweller, once you get to your campsite, the first thing you want to do, there are 4 stabilizer jacks, 1 on each corner, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Really easy. You're just going to pull this blue handle right here towards you, release that down to the ground there until it locks into place. You want to do that with all 4 of those. The roof of the Dweller pops up to create more headspace on the inside. There are 4 latches on the roof on each of the corners that also have a pin here that secures that in place. So you just release that pin and pull that out, lift up on that latch, and release it from that hook. Now on the inside, you'll find these 2 big black handles, one on the front and one on the rear. These also have pins that you'll have to release and pull those out. The rest is very easy. You just grab the handle, lift up and lock that into place. You can also replace those pins here. And then onto the back, you want to remove those pins, and then same thing, lift up and lock that into place. The back of the Dweller also expands out to create a little bit more space for that king-size bed in the back. First thing you'll want to do is drop down the spare tire here. There is a red-handled latch here, again with a pin. You want to release that and remove the pin. Unhook that latch, and then there's 2 black knobs here that you'll want to unscrew. The first one, and the second one, and the hydraulic arms will help that come down for you. Once that's done, there are 2 black latches on the back here, so just push that lock to release those, and then you can lift the top up here. 2 walls fold out to create the walls on the back here, so you'll take this little silver handle, pull that towards you and twist, just like that. Swing that first arm out here, make sure it's placed in that plastic. That side, and then on this side as well. The bottom piece also has a couple of those same black latches. Again, just push the lock to release those. And then that just drops down into place here. And then the back has a couple of handles here that'll help you lift that up into place. Just pull that down, latch it there, lock it on that side, and then the same thing on this side. Latch that into place and lock it. Now that we're all done setting up, let's take a look. So quite a bit of storage on the outside here. These two compartments are both storage. The latches here each have locks. Once it's unlocked, you'll just push this button to release the latches and that opens up. So quite a bit storage there. The one below has a couple of storage drawers in it. So just same thing, you pop those open. Each of these has a little blue handle that releases that lock. Slide that out and then push that button back down to put that back in. This is the compartment that houses your cassette toilet. So all the waste that you use from that toilet is going to go into this tank. There is a sensor on the flush panel there that shows you when that's full. To open this, you just push these two little buttons here and that should pop right open for you. Inside there, you'll see this little gray thing. To release that, there's a green lever underneath. So you just lift that up and pull that out. Then you'll find a dumping station. Turn this over and then just pour that in there. And then to put it back in, you'll just slide that back into place and that will lock back in there. This actually has its own separate water tank to use for flushing. So fill that up, you'll take this arm, remove that cap, and then put that filler on there, and then you can fill that up with water. Kind of tucked in here to the right side of that compartment is a clear tube that will show you how much water is in that water tank. If we go down below, directly below that compartment, you'll see a big red valve switch there. That's going to empty out your gray waste holding tank. So that's going to be the water for the sink on the inside of the trailer. The Dweller comes with two freshwater tanks. There's a front tank and a rear tank. The front tank has 21 gallons of water and the rear has 31 gallons. So on these, you just open that up. This is gravity fill. You just put the hose in there and then it'll run out underneath once that's full. Same thing with this one on this side. The one on the left is your tank fill. And then the one on the right is your city connection. So if you have a water spigot at your campsite, you're going to take that water hose, pop that cap off, screw that water in. Turn that on. Once that's hooked in and turned on, everything in there is going to work. If you're not hooked into city water, you'll just have to make sure the water pump switch is turned on. We'll show you a little bit more about that on the inside. Moving on down here, we have, this is just a vent for your Truma system for your hot water and for your furnace. And beside that is your 30 amp connection. So you just want to lift that up. The end of the power cable with the ring on it connects to the Dweller here. Screw that in to secure it, and then the other end is going to plug into 30 amp hookup. Here on the passenger side, we have a 12 volt outlet here. This is your part of your outdoor kitchen, so just push those buttons and drop that down. This is your latch release, so you push that button down and slide that out. In the back here, there's another one of those blue releases, so you just slide that down here. You have a couple of burners here and your sink. You also have a little bit of storage down below for some silverware and things like that. Underneath this slide out is your drain for your outdoor sink. There's a little white hose you'll have to pull out from storage there, put that into a bucket, and then that should drain in there, and then you can just pour out that wastewater at a later time. You'll find these hookups here. So you have a red and a blue line. You'll just hook the red in here and the red into the coach on that side, and then the blue to the blue. And that'll feed your water there. Below that is your propane hookup for your gas burners. You have a quick connect hose here. The bigger end is going to connect here, just underneath the blue water line connection. You slide that back and pop it in. And then the other connection is kind of tucked in underneath that exterior compartment door there. Moving down, you have a little bit of extra counter space here, a little bit of storage there. Moving on down, we also have the dual zone refrigerator. Has a refrigerator and freezer if you would like, 12 volt or 110 if you would like that. Here on the inside of the Dweller, right inside the inside door, we have some gauges here. You have the front tank and the rear tank freshwater tanks. And this are analog gauges, so when they're empty, it shows empty, and when they're full, they're full. There is a valve underneath the seat I'm sitting on that determines which tank you use. The valve, if you turn it to the front of the coach, it's going to be using the front tank. If you turn it to the rear of the coach, it'll be using the rear tank. And if you put it straight up, it'll actually be pulling from both of those tanks. Beside that is your gray tank, so that's where your wastewater from your shower and your sink is going to go there. Um, Directly below that, these are breakers. So each one of these is aligned with these items below. So the power goes to your main power switch here, fridge to this switch, socket is all your 110 outlets inside here, to the second switch here. Light is to the third switch here for all of the lights inside here, and then the pump is for your water pump. Now, in order to use all these, you want to make sure that your power switch is turned on. If that power breaker trips, then you just push that in to reset that. These are all the same way. You do have to lift this up and turn that on. Each one of these that are lit up are turned on. But so that's going to indicate power to your fridge. You have power to your sockets. You have power to your lights. And then right now we currently do not have the pump turned on, so there's no power there. Directly above there is showing the voltage here in your house batteries and how many amps it's currently using. Down below we have a DVD player and a stereo where you can play some music and things like that on there. Across from that panel you have several light switches, some interior light switches here, and then some on the outside. There is an automatic step on here. So if you are at your campsite while you're driving, obviously it's going to be in, so you'll have it closed. And then when you get to your campsite for the setup, you'll just click that open and that electronic step will slide out. The awning is disabled for the rentals, so that switch will be non-functional. The front here, we have quite a bit of storage, several different drawers here, a little cubby here. This is also storage. We have these sliding doors there. Really deep. Then you have a couple of shallower shelving here, shelving units there. Moving around is your bathroom. So this is a wet bath. The latch, you just twist to the left there to open that up. You do want to make sure that zipper is unzipped in order to open that. And then that'll close once you're in there using the shower to protect any water from coming out here. In the bathroom, you have that cassette toilet. So functions like a normal toilet for the most part. The little blue button on there you push to release the water into the tank, and then that big handle flushes it. Handheld shower there, little sink, some storage as well. There is a vent fan in here, so you can turn that on. There's also a light in here for the shower. Moving down beside that, you have some more storage. You have like a little wardrobe, some more storage drawers there. Beside your wardrobe, you have a little TV here. There are some Velcro straps that keep that from moving around while you're driving. Lots of power stations throughout here, some 12 volts there on either side, some cubbies there as well. These windows, the way they function, you just lift up from the bottom for the shade, slide that back down, or pull from the top for the screen. You can also connect the shade to the screen by locking those into place. So when you pull it down, they'll just come, and then to release that, there's a couple of buttons on each one to separate those. These windows do push out. You want to push in on that little gray button there to release those levers, and then it just pushes out and then locks into place there. To release the window, you want to lift it all the way up and then back down, and then latch all four back into place. In the very back, we have your large king size bed. That's a foam mattress, so pretty comfortable there. And then right below that, you have several different controls. A lot of the stuff with your power, water heater, furnace, and all of that kind of stuff is right below there. Right, this first big white box, there's just a few breakers in there. So you have your main breaker that really kills power to everything, your air conditioner breaker, and then your inverter breaker. So there's several different ways to power this unit. There are 3 onboard batteries. There is a solar panel on there as well. So if you have the charge line on your 7-pin connection to your vehicle, then that'll be charging the house batteries that whole time. If you're at your campsite and you don't have an electrical hookup, in order to power everything, you'll have to turn your inverter on. That will run everything in the vehicle here on your batteries. So to turn that on, you'll just push this little button right here and turn that on. And once that's turned on, you'll hear a little beep. And now you have power to everything. If you're not using that, you can always just turn that off. There also is that 30 amp hookup on the outside that we spoke about earlier. So if you have that, then you won't need your inverter on. Above that is your Truma. So this is for your furnace and your hot water. So to turn that on, you're just going to push that button there. This first little icon is for your furnace. So to turn that on, you'll just push that. And then you can turn the dial to select the temperature you like. To select it, you'll just push it again. You'll see a little can come up there. That's indicating that that is now on. To turn it back off, you're just going to push it again, dial it back to off, and then push it again. The icon directly next to that is for your hot water. Same thing, once it's flashing, you select that, turn it over to Eco, Hot, or Boost, and then press it again, and that'll turn that on. Again, you'll see the little tank there indicating that that's on, and then to turn it back off, same process backwards. Beside that is your solar controller. Don't really have to do anything with that. That just kind of helps maintain your house batteries. Below that is your LP and propane detector. Beside all these controllers under your dinette is your air conditioner control. And then for your air conditioner, that's this controller here. Just power that on, and then you can adjust the temperature however you would like. And then when you're done, you can just power that back off. Thanks for watching our walkthrough and instructional video on the 2022 OBI Dweller 13. We look forward to seeing you.